Hi, my name is Laura Hackney, and I'm the co-founder and chief technical officer of AnnieCannons. I am so excited to be presenting to you all today. So I would ask that if you have any questions or would like to follow up after my presentation, please don't hesitate to reach out. At AnnieCannons, we believe that we can achieve a world without abuse by believing in the underestimated. And so how do we do that, and what does that have to do with technology? At AnnieCannons, our mission is that we transform survivors of human trafficking and gender-based violence into software engineers. The problem that we're addressing is that we believe that talent is equally distributed, but opportunity is not. This reality exacerbates cycles of poverty and abuse. It limits diversity in STEM disciplines and restricts access to future social, economic, and creative opportunities for those who've been affected by human trafficking and gender-based violence. When we started our organization 6 years ago, we were seeing, especially in the anti-trafficking and anti-gender-based violent movements, that a lot of the focus was on the rescue. How do we get people out of these situations of exploitation? But the problem was that a lot of survivors were saying, well, what's next? How am I going to be able to create a career for myself, for my family, be able to break this cycle of exploitation? And we were seeing that a lot of the focus just wasn't being spent on long-term reintegration. And we started talking about how a career in technology, pathways into technology that were non-traditional, would be a way to not only give someone access to income opportunities, but for a meaningful career and lifelong learning and a community of individuals that can help support you as you're going through professional development. And so with that, we built AnnieCannons really with the belief that economic independence through meaningful career opportunities ends exploitation and abuse. And we do this through 3 different focus areas. The first focus area and the heart of what we do at AnnieCannons is our training program. And the purpose of our training program is to provide access to high-skilled technical training for survivors, and also to provide these learning opportunities in a trauma-informed classroom that meets the needs of survivors. So we start off with an intake process that assumes no background in computers, no previous history working in the tech industry or anything like that. And we have people go through an education agnostic intake screening to see if people have the natural logic ability to be a good fit with software engineering. Once someone enters the program, they spend time going through our digital literacy unit, where we make sure to cover things like, computer hardware, computer software, how technology companies actually build software. What do the roles look like in a tech company? What is the process like for actually building out a software product? We spend some time talking about the physical infrastructure of the internet, communication tools that are used by companies today, so many of the core skills that a lot of people take for granted. And we really make sure that people have a solid foundation for how they could fit in and how they could learn more about what their opportunities are in tech. Then we dive into coding. We spend the next part of our training teaching our students front-end web development. So we focus on the core technologies that are used today all over the world to build projects for the web. Throughout that process, we also teach data management. We do some work with content management systems, and then we also build up people's skills in order for them to start learning more complex technologies, building out web applications, building mobile applications. We really want to make the training as practical as possible, and so that people are continuing to refine their skills over time and learn more about technology as technology is constantly changing. But the second piece of what we do, we provide our graduates with the opportunity to work independently to build their software portfolios, to access paid projects, to earn competitive rates as they build custom software for clients. Our organization, while a nonprofit, contracts out with other tech companies, other nonprofits, other organizations that are looking for an organization to build their software. They hire AnnieCannons, and we hire our graduates, our engineers, to build out those projects so that companies not only get great software, but they also have an impact. And then our graduates can not only build up their portfolios, but they can also start earning money for working on those paid projects. AnnieCannons acts as the organization that facilitates all of these benefits on both sides for our clients as well as for our graduates. Another piece of what we do is focus on growing and making sure that people who go through our program are able to develop their own career goals and professional development skills that will help them throughout the rest of their professional lives. And lastly, we provide our graduates with an opportunity to develop impact technology. As we were training our students on how the software industry works, our students actually started coming up with incredible software ideas to address problems that they had seen in their own lives or had seen in their own communities. And so we started working on how could we actually take these incredible ideas and workshop them in-house so that we can actually start building products that can go to market, products that can address some of the most pressing challenges facing our society today, so that our graduates can not only have more projects in their portfolio, but that they can see the full process of developing software and see their ideas out in the world. Survivors are uniquely suited to programming work. And why is that? Well, studies have shown that the best indicators of a successful programmer are excellent problem-solving ability and grit. And I can tell you that those are two of the qualities that I see with the engineers that I'm working with at AnnieCannons every day. It's really incredible to witness. An abundant economic opportunity from software development is accessible with the right space for learning, earning, and innovating. Part of what I hope for AnnieCannons and what I hope for this conference is to start having more conversations about how we can create more of these spaces to bring more individuals into the tech industry, not only for their opportunity to access all that technology has to offer, but also so that we can benefit from new ideas coming in and new technologies that can be built. Survivors at AnnieCannons can learn, earn, and invent effectively in the space we've created for them because our space eliminates privilege-based barriers. A lot of our work was not just around creating a trauma-informed classroom, but also around creating a trauma-informed workplace. How we can start to systematically remove the barriers that keep people from being successful, not only in tech, but in all industries. It's something that we're continuing to work on through transparent decision-making processes, working to ensure on-site childcare, addressing issues around trauma-responsive practices. All of these things are critically important, and they're things that we're working on not only to provide these high-skilled technical training opportunities, but to also rethink how we come together and how we actually work to build software products. These are just a couple examples of some of the projects that we've worked on at AnnieCannons. We've had startup clients, we've had nonprofit clients who've hired us to work on web applications, mobile applications, and websites. And being able to work with a lot of these clients to provide that impact has started to have a ripple effect. And we're building an ecosystem of not only technology companies, but companies that are using technology to further their own missions and their own impact, but that we're all connected through this sense of how we can create the most benefit and the most opportunity for those in our society that have been the most underestimated. As I mentioned, we're incredibly excited about some of the in-house technologies that we're developing at AnnieCannons. We're working on a platform right now that eliminates re-traumatization from services intake and referrals and gives survivors agency over their post-trauma care. One of the things that we've been hearing over and over again from survivors is how every time they work with a new service provider, they have to tell their own, often very traumatic story over and over again. And once they've told that story or given information about themselves, they have no way of controlling that data, no way of controlling that information. So we're building a platform that not only helps a survivor control their data, their information, their intake story, but also helps facilitate referrals with service providers and makes it easier for those service providers to actually make referrals between the rest of the ecosystem. This is something we're really excited about. We're also working on a service to help moms get access to tips and support from other moms and so that their babies can develop in good health. The student who came up with this idea felt that when she had her first child, she didn't have the income in order to follow all of the baby advice books. And she really wanted to be able to help other women who might have been income sensitive to be able to get access to a lot of that information, knowing that they might not always have all of the resources to buy the newest things. We're also working on an app to help survivors easily and quickly obtain legal restraining orders to protect them from abusers. We were hearing about the incredibly complex process for actually filing for a temporary restraining order, but also just knowing what the process is and having more support. So our application, Easy TRO, helps individuals go through that process so that they know what to expect, but that they also have help and support in a mobile optimized, user-friendly way to fill out these forms and get the process moving on their restraining order. And lastly, we're also working on a data platform to help survivors of sexual assault report their experiences, access support, and contribute to large-scale data analysis. The student who came up with this idea was incredibly frustrated at the underreporting of sexual assault, and therefore the lack of funding to support survivors. But she also knew that survivors, for the most part, are incredibly uncomfortable with having to share their stories, and oftentimes it could put them in physical danger. So she wanted a way for someone to be able to anonymously report their story so that they could not only feel like they were able to use their voice in a safe way, but that they were contributing to a larger scale data collection so that we can start doing analysis to understand trends and try to help direct funding in ways to best support survivors. You can help us meet the demand for our solution all over the world. We're hoping that more and more individuals, companies, and organizations join us in creating new ways to bring more talented individuals into the technology space. There's so much potential for models like ours at AnnieCannons to be able to be expanded into other parts of technology as well as other industries. And with the right support and the right partnerships, we believe that more and more individuals who've been overlooked by society, overlooked by technology, can be brought in, and that we can all benefit from their brilliance and their contributions. Thank you so much for your time. Please don't hesitate to reach out, and I look forward to hearing more about all of the wonderful work. Thank you so much.